So good afternoon, dear students. Today, as we have discussed in the previous session, we will be going for understanding the contents of syllabus for this institute level optional course, Project Management, which you have selected for your semester 8. So the code for this particular subject is ILO 8021. Myself, Dr. Rahul Dandge, who will be subject in charge for this particular subject. There are certain course objectives for this subject. Number one is to familiarize the students with the use of a structured methodology or approach for each and every unique project undertaken, including utilizing project management concept, tools, and techniques. So the first and foremost objective for which you are going to learn this particular subject is to understand how to use a structured methodology or how to use a structured approach for each and every unique project which is undertaken, and how to utilize the project management concept, what are the various tools and techniques for project management, and how to utilize them for completion of the project. The second course objective is to apprise the students with the project management life cycle and make them knowledgeable about the various phases from project initiation through closure. So every project, it has its own life cycle, and this life cycle of any project has various phases. Like you can have the phase like initiation phase, then you can have a planning phase, you can have executions phase, you can have monitoring and control phase, and then you can have a closure phase. So likewise, every project, right from the concept or the start of the project to finally completion of the project, it whatever is the time span we have, that entire time span is called as the life cycle of this particular project. So we have to understand the project management throughout this life cycle, and also you should be able to understand the various phases which are involved in this life cycle of the project. The course outcomes which have been defined at the end of this particular course means at the end of this semester, once you finish this particular course, you will be able to, the learner will be able to apply selection criteria and select an appropriate project from different options. Okay, so there are certain numeric and non-numeric, means theoretical criteria for selection of the project, and qualitative and quantitative, we can say. So by applying these numeric or non-numeric criteria, if you have got a multiple pool of projects in front of you, then out of that, which project is to be selected, or what should be the sequence in which the project should be executed or they should be undertaken, that you should be able to apply the criteria and select the project. Then second thing what you should learn from this particular subject is write the work breakdown structure for a project and develop a schedule based on it. So if you consider any particular project, you should be able to completely explain or completely write down the work breakdown structure of the particular project. Okay, so what we mean by work breakdown structure, as the name itself suggests, work breakdown. Okay, so it indicates the various activities which will be involved in this particular project, how you will go on breaking the work into small elements, and then deciding the sequence, deciding the resources which are required to complete this particular activity, and then completing this work breakdown structure. And based upon this developed work breakdown structure, we have to also develop a schedule so that we can get the estimate of the entire project, which activity, when it is going to start, when it is going to finish, and also when the entire project is going to get completed. Third thing what you are going to learn is about identify the opportunities and threats to the project and decide an approach to deal with them strategically. So this is about something which is related to risk management in the project. So we have to identify what are the various opportunities and threats to your project, and we should decide some response strategy, some action plan which will enable us to deal with these particular opportunities and threats strategically, so that their effect will be minimum on your particular project. Next, what you are going to learn is about using earned value technique and determine the predict status of the project. So this is something which is related to the financial terms, related to the actual cost, related to the we can say the net present value of your project, the projected costs. So some numerical problems related to the financial management of your project, so that we have to understand. And finally, you should be able to capture lessons learned during the project phases and document them for future references, because as a project engineer or as a project manager, you will be handling various projects in your professional life. So every project, when you finish it, you should be able to document the lessons learned during this particular project, so that these documentation of the lessons learned, whatever you have learned from this particular project, will serve as a future reference. If a similar kind of project you need to handle in future, you can go back to the previous project, see the final summary of lessons learned, and you can take the corrective actions, so that the difficulties, the problems, the obstacles, the risks, whatever you have encountered in the current project, those you will not be required to face in future, because you will be already having experience of handling those particular difficulties or those particular issues which are in your project. So this is about the objectives and outcomes which are expected from this particular course. Now coming to the syllabus of this particular subject module wise. So as your standard practice, our syllabus has been distributed into 6 modules. So module number 1. So in this module number 1, basically this is a we can say overview or introductory module. In this case, we have to learn the foundation or fundamental concepts related to project. Okay, so what are these concepts or what are these foundation things we have to learn is definition of project. So we should be able to define the project clearly. Then we should be able to clearly differentiate between project and operations, or the routine practices, routine work, whatever we are doing. Then what is the necessity of project management? Why this project management is essential, that we should understand. Then the triple constraints, what we have discussed yesterday, that is scope, cost and time for a particular project. Then the project life cycle, the various phases in the project life cycle, and the stage gate process for this project life. Okay, so this is the first part of module number 1 with respect to the fundamental concepts of project. Then the another part which is given in this module is understanding the role of a project manager. So somebody who has been appointed as a project manager, what are the roles and responsibilities of him, what qualities are expected from a project manager, who can be appointed as a project manager, what criteria is applied to decide that some XYZ person can be appointed as a project manager. So these things we have to understand. Then negotiations and resolving conflicts. So this is one very typical characteristic expected from a project manager, that he should be good in negotiations and also he should be good in resolving the conflicts. So that we have to understand that how to go for the negotiations and what are the various strategies to resolve the conflicts. Because as we are knowing, since project will be involving multiple departments together, multiple organizations together, multiple people together, there will be definitely certain areas where people will not agree on each other, and then definitely there will be certain conflicts. So as a project manager, he should be good to negotiate the things, and he should be able to resolve the conflicts. Then project management in various organization structures. So there are various organizational structures available. So different organizations, they follow different organizational structure as per the product, as per the area in which that firm is working. So the role of this project management in this variety of organizational structures we have to understand. Then project management knowledge areas as per the Project Management Institute, that is PMI. So this PMI, Project Management Institute, is one institute, or it is an authority in the area of this project management. The head office of this is situated in US, and worldwide this project management institute has their offices, their chapters which are working in various countries, and worldwide many countries, the industries who are working in project management field, or the industries who are undertaking projects, they follow the standards established by Project Management Institute, that is PMI. So this PMI, it has classified the various elements of project management into different domains which are called as knowledge areas, and there are 10 knowledge areas as per this PMI handbook, which is published in 2013. So we have to understand what are these various knowledge areas, and then we have to start. Then module number 2, it is about the initial phase of the project life cycle, that is initiating projects. So how to get a project started? So what are the things we should consider when we start a project? Before we start a project, what things we have to take into account? That is, then selecting the project strategically. So when we say about selecting the project, then we should have a certain method to select the project. So there are certain project selection models. So there are numerical models, and also there are non-numeric models. So we should be able to use these models, and we should be able to select the particular project. Then project portfolio process, project sponsor, so financial sponsor, and creating charter, that is the official document which is required for starting of the project, and project proposal, so a document which will be giving the brief idea about what this project will be all about. So that is nothing but initiating project. Then we should be able to create, we should be able to develop a project team. This project team, it should be effective, it should be efficient, and it should be comprised of appropriate people from appropriate domains. Then stages of team development and growth. So how to go for team development and how to go for its growth intellectually and work wise. That is, there are some 4 steps: forming, storming, norming, and performing, which are considered as stages of team development and growth. And then about the team dynamics. Module number 3. So this particular module number 1 will be completely theoretical. Module number 2, there will be few problems based upon the numeric models of project selection. Then module number 3. In module number 3, we have to understand this project planning and scheduling phase of your project life cycle. In this particular phase, we have to understand how to develop the work breakdown structure, what are the various elements. Then we have to go for developing the linear responsibility chart. Once we develop the work breakdown structure, then we will be able to develop the linear responsibility chart, so that each work, each element, and the resources required and who is responsible for the same, these things can be clear using the linear responsibility chart. Then interface coordination and concurrent engineering. So that is about the first part in this module. Then project cost estimation and budgeting. So the financial aspects or the project cost management. So we have to go for estimation of the cost and prepare the budget. So once you prepare the work breakdown structure, then you will come to know how many activities, how many small elements you are involved. They are involved in this particular project. Each element, each activity will be requiring certain duration, certain resources, and certain cost will be associated with that activity. So once you have this work breakdown structure and linear responsibility chart ready, then you can go for estimation of the cost. And once you go for cost estimation for individual activities, then final budgeting you will be able to prepare that how much will be the overall budget for this particular project. Then top down and bottom up budgeting. So whenever you are going for budgeting, there are two approaches which can be considered, either from top management to the lowest level of employees, or from lowest level of employees to the top management. In both ways we can have the vertical communication, up and down and up. So that will be helpful for this budgeting purpose. Then we have to go for some network and scheduling techniques, that is PERT, CPM, and Gantt chart. Especially the students who are from mechanical, they have already learned this PERT, CPM, Gantt chart in their PPC, that is 7th semester production planning and control. They must have learned this PERT, CPM, and Gantt chart. But the students who are from automobile or the students who are from computer, they will not be knowing these things because it was not there as a part of their syllabus. So there will be certain problems, numerical problems based upon this network analysis using CPM, PERT, and Gantt chart. Then project management information system, that is PMIS, which is required for documentation of the information. Then disseminating the information to the right people at the right time, and how the authorization of the information, etc. So that is about the project management information system. So this is more related to the software people to develop the database or the systems which will be making the project management information systems as easier. Module number 4 is about the next phase of your project life cycle, that is planning phase. In this planning, we have to go for crashing project time, resource loading and leveling, Goldrat's critical chain, project stakeholders, and communication plan. So continuation of the network analysis as crashing the project time. Then we have to go for the concept of resource loading and resource leveling. So this is about the resource management. Then Goldrat's critical chain rule, and we have to understand who will be the project stakeholders, who can be considered as project stakeholder, and the communication plan to share the information, to share the we can say disseminate the information within the stakeholders. Then risk management in the projects. So we have to understand what is the risk management planning, risk identification, then preparing a risk register to mention and define the risks. Then the risk assessment using qualitative techniques and quantitative techniques, defining or preparing the probability impact matrix, PI matrix, which is for the risk categories which are involved based upon the probability of occurrence for the risk and how much is the impact of that particular risk on your project. So we can prepare the PI matrix. Risk response strategies for positive and negative risks. So once you have identified the risks, you have understood the probability impact scenario for this particular risk, then we should be able to plan the risk response strategies for maybe the risks are positive or they are negative, but we have to plan the risk response strategies. In module number 5, we have to go for the execution, monitoring and contracting of the project. So in executing project, what we have to do is, it is a major phase, it is actual execution of your project. So this planning, monitoring and controlling cycle, information needs and reporting, engaging with all stakeholders of the project, team management, communication and project meetings. So this execution of the project is very essential and important step in the project life cycle, because in this stage the actual implementation and execution of your project is undergoing. Once your project is completed, during that and even when it is undergoing the progress, the another phase, that is monitoring and controlling projects, comes into picture. So in this particular phase, monitoring and controlling these projects, we have to go for applying earned value management techniques for measuring the value of work completed, using milestones for measurement, change request, scope creep and project audit. So this earned value management techniques, they will be required to apply, and there will be few numerical problems based upon this earned value management techniques. And then project contracting, it is about project procurement management, contracting and outsourcing. So how to go for contracting the various components of your project, that we have to learn in this module number 5. And finally, module number 6. Module number 6, there are two parts. One is about the project leadership and ethics. So we should be knowing about the project leadership. Maybe we can say it is a project manager, or it may be vice president of project or director of projects, whatever. Designations may be different in different organizations, but we have to understand how the project leadership should be. And then ethics in project, multicultural and virtual projects. So which ethical aspects we have to take into account when we are executing the project. Like there may be some issues like copyright, there may be some issues like some patents filed. So whether to use them, if we want to use them, whether we are taking the prior permission from the concerned person or the organization. So these all things will be mattered in this ethics of your project. Multicultural and virtual projects. So this is particularly related to international projects. When we go for multicultural means, if the project team is involved with people from various countries, various regions, and they all are connected to each other through online platform, virtual team. They are working like a virtual team, and in that particular case, the regular way of handling projects will be different, because it will be a domestic project. But in case of this multinational or multicultural and virtual projects, the way the projects will be handled, they will be slightly different. And then final phase is about the closing project, customer acceptance, reasons of project termination. So when we can close the project, either your customer has approved the project, or your superior authorities, they are not willing to continue with the projects. In that particular case, we are going to close the project. So first thing is always acceptable, that customer acceptance. Once the customer says that yes, from my expectations point of view, the project is completed satisfactorily, so now you can stop your work and hand over the project to me. So that is the most important part, most requirement for project completion. Another reason may be the project may be terminated in between because of various reasons. So we have to understand the various types of project terminations, why the project got terminated. So there can be some investigation, and we can understand why the project got terminated. Then process of project termination, completing final year project, doing a lessons learned analysis, acknowledging successes and failure. So this is all about the completion of the final report, doing lesson learned analysis. As we have discussed, when we go for the next project, if we have the lessons learned analysis for previous project, then definitely it will be helpful to avoid the mistakes. Acknowledging the successes and failures. So during the journey of your project, if there are certain successes, they should be acknowledged. If there are certain failures, they should be also acknowledged. And corrective actions, what we have planned, it should be mentioned in that particular document of closing the project. Project management templates and other resources, managing without authority, areas of further study. So there are certain templates, there are certain formats to undertake the project management. So what are the various templates available? What are the other resources available that we have to understand? Managing without authority means there is no bossing. Everybody is boss of his own. So managing without authority and areas of further study. So this will be there in the module number 6. So I hope you have understood what we are going to learn throughout this particular semester as project management subject. Is it correct? Put in chat box yes if you have understood what we are going to learn in this particular project management subject. If you have any query, you can ask. Otherwise, put chat box yes if you have understood. Abhishek Mestri says yes. Prathamesh Ghanekar yes. Raj Surve yes. Lokam yes. Rajesh Ravle, Suraj Gavde, Rahul Khakam, Vignesh Sambre, Ketan Adavde, Soham Sawant, Darshan Visharia, Bhavesh, Shreyas Bhopatkar. Good, good, good. Chinmay Bhagwat. Okay. Yes. So I think there are no queries in this particular syllabus discussion, whatever we have taken up. Now let us try to understand briefly a few important points with respect to the project. This will be again coming into picture when we will be going for the actual syllabus for module number 1, 2, 3, etc. So before we start with the actual delivery of the contents, let us try to understand what is a project. So yesterday's quiz for attendance, there was a question, and many students they have definitely given very apt answers for the terminology which is used as project. What do you mean by project? Okay, but these are some standard definitions. You can see the definitions which are given by various authors, various authorities, various we can say standards in the project management field. So the first definition is project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or service. So there are few important words. Project is a temporary endeavor. Okay, so it is not a lifelong. The start and end point is fixed. So that's why it is called as a temporary endeavor. Like you all are doing your final year project. So we know that the project team is a temporary team which is built for this 7 and 8 semester. So there is a fixed point for starting your project and there is a fixed point for ending your project. So this is a temporary endeavor and it is undertaken to create a unique product or service. So whatever you are doing, it should be something which is unique, or whatever service you are providing, it should be some unique product or service. Then we can say it is a project. Another definition which is given, which is another simple definition, it is a non-routine series of tasks directed towards a goal. If the series of tasks, it is of routine activities, routine, we can say routine works, then we say it is operations. But when they are non-routine series of activities, series of tasks, then we say they are and these all non-routine series of tasks, they are directed towards a goal, certain objective, certain we can say fixed goal in mind. So that we call it as a project. A project is combination of human and non-human resources. Yes.
Sir, one doubt. Sir, in a non-routine, in which sense?
Non-routine means
Yes, sir.
if
Yes, sir. Because a project is a stepwise manner work, na. So why it is called non-routine series of tasks?
okay, non-routine means if we are performing the same kind of operation every day or regularly, we do not say it is a project. Okay, non-routine in the sense, let us say you come from hostel to your college for lecture number 1, that is at 9 o'clock. So you are doing it daily. correct? Every day you are doing the same thing. You are waking
Yes.
up, you are starting from hostel, you are reaching your classroom and sitting for the lecture number one at 9 o'clock. It is a routine activity. There
Yes.
are no differences in this particular activity. But let us say you want to travel from here to Mumbai. Are you going daily? You are not
No,
going
sir.
daily to Mumbai.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that might be considered as a project because you need to prepare for everything. You have to book a ticket. You have to find out by which method you are going to travel, what are the options available, which is your boarding point, which is your dropping point, what material you need to carry with you, who will be accompanying with you, for what purpose you are going, whether you are traveling in daytime, whether you are traveling in night time, and so many things. So even though coming from hostel to classroom is also a kind of travel, and going from Devruk to Mumbai is also a kind of travel, but one is a routine activity and other is a non-routine activity. So that non-routine activity which is directed towards a goal, because simply doing certain activity cannot be called as a project, because there has to be some goal, some objective which should be measurable at the end when we say whether the project is successful or not. Then we should have some predefined goals, that we should compare the output, the outcomes from your project and what were the expected, and then comparing this we will be able to understand whether the project is a successful project or there are some failures. Okay,
Yes.
I
Okay.
hope.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
There might be some activities involved in a project which can be routine, but that will be the percentage of those particular activities will be small. Okay. Another example is, let us say if there is a company who is building highways. So building a highway is a project. Okay. But you can see, if a highway is to be built between, you can say, two cities like Kolhapur to Solapur, and you want to build a highway between Mumbai to Goa. So both the things are same. Is it correct? There also you are doing highway construction. Here also you are undertaking a highway construction project. But considering the geographical conditions, developing or constructing a project between Kolhapur to Solapur and constructing a highway between Mumbai to Goa, the things are altogether different. Geography is altogether different. So you cannot map the things as it is for this and that work. So that's why we can say these are non-routine activities. If you have executed a project between Kolhapur to Solapur well, you cannot guarantee that you will be executing the same set of work for Mumbai to Goa highway and your project will be successful, because there are various parameters which are changing from, even though the projects are similar, but they are not identical. They are, every project is a unique project. Something is different for every project, and that something different we need to identify so that we can focus on that and we'll be able to get our project successful. Another definition is, project is combination of human and non-human resources pulled together in a temporary organization to achieve a specified purpose. So it is all about the resources and how they are combined. So resources may be in terms of human resources, or the resources may be in terms of material, or in terms of finance, or in terms of infrastructure, or in terms of the IT infrastructure resources required, etc. And these all are combined together as a team in a temporary organization to achieve specified purpose. Now the people particularly who are working in the software field, computer students, you know that whenever you are joining any software organization, you are given with you are allotted with certain projects, and whenever you are allotted with certain project, then that project will be a team of people will be working on that particular project. Let us say you get recruited in TCS, or you get recruited in Infosys, or you get in Persistent kind of bigger companies. Then might be you will be working on certain project where few people from your office, people from Delhi, few people from Chennai, they all will be working on the same project. So for a particular project, these all people, they have come together. So we say it is a temporary organization. So they are coming together only because they are involved in a small project, in a particular project. Once that project is over, again everybody is free, everybody is separate for only a particular purpose, for only a particular objective. The things, the people have come together. Or you can say even uh, now this time we will not have our annual function, but let us say if you have our, means I'm saying because things are going online. If the things are working in physical sense, might be the things will be as regular. If we consider the function like arohan, so every arohan is a, even though it is a kind of routine activity, but every year the students are different, the people who are involved, they are different, and that's why we can say it is a project. So students from various branches, they are coming together as a team, as an organization team. And once the function is over, again everybody is separated. So it is a combination of human and non-human resources pulled together in temporary organization to achieve a specified purpose. Then there are key factors for project success. So when we say the project is successful, budget, that is a very important factor, schedule, performance, that is quality, and client acceptance. So this is most important. If everything is okay and the client hasn't accepted the outcomes, or the client has refused to accept the project, then we cannot say the project is successful. We say that the project is a failure, because ultimately when the client will accept the project, then only he will release the payment, he will release the funds which are for that particular project. So when your project is within budget, within the given time frame schedule, the quality of your project, that is scope and quality, it is exactly as required, so performance is well, and finally the client has accepted your project, then we can say the project is successful. So after understanding project, we should know what is the project management. So it is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. So this is basically some management philosophy attached to the project component, so that the project can be executed in a disciplined manner, in a proper manner. So five processes or five phases, they are undertaken: initiation, planning, execution, controlling, and closure. So this is the process of project management. You can see we have a project initiator or sponsor, the firm who has initiated the project, or there may be some sponsor. Like if I take any infrastructure project, then maybe government of India, that can be the sponsor for this particular project. Or sometimes the projects are built with the involvement of private people, so that funds are getting available from those sponsors. They are giving the project inputs, their requirements. Then the phases of your project, that is initiating, executing, then planning and processes, closing, and monitoring and controlling is throughout. So these all phases will be undertaken. Finally, you get the project deliverables and project records. So two things, they are important. Once you complete your project, the outcomes of your project in terms of the project deliverables. So what product you have launched, what output you have given to your customer. And second thing, what should be kept as the record is your project records, that is lessons learned. So the end user will be satisfied with the project deliverables, whereas the project records will serve as a reference for your future projects. Then there are certain project management process groups as defined standard: initiating process group, planning process group, executing process group, monitoring and control process group, and closing process group. So whatever are the processes, for each process, there will be certain people involved. So these people will be clubbed under this initiating processes group, planning processes group, etc. And this is the entire life cycle of your project, that is start to finish. What are the advantages of this project management? The financial, physical, and human resources, we will be having better control. If we don't apply the principles of project management, then might be we will not have a control, proper control on these resources. Improved customer relations, that is very important, because if you improve the customer relations, then there are chances that you will be getting frequently the projects from same customer. Shorter development times, because nowadays, because of the cutthroat competition, development times, they need to be very short, because your competitor may launch the product before you launch your product. Now you must have seen this the vaccine which has come into market for this COVID. So there was a very tremendous competition that who will be bringing this vaccine first in market, because the person who bring, or the organization who brings first, he is the winner. Now there may be a number of companies who will be bringing this particular vaccine into market, but now everybody knows that Serum has brought the vaccine for this in market, and Bharat Biotech they have brought. So the first name itself will be remembered. So that's why the development time has to be very short. You cannot spend n number of days, n number of time in developing a project or developing a particular product. Lower cost and increased reliability, that is a requirement. Higher profit margins, because ultimately the organization doing project, it should earn profit to survive. And if you are applying project management, then obviously the things will be more systematic and your profit margins will be higher. The internal coordination will be better. There will be positive impact on meeting the strategic goals, and the worker morale will be very high. They will be very satisfied to work. Some top 10 skills, competencies for project manager. People skills, he should be a people man, we can say. He should be able to mix with the people, get the work done. He should be able to listen properly. Leadership qualities he should have, listening ability, integrity. The behavior should be ethical and consistent. Strong at building trust, because unless and until you build trust among your team, it is very difficult to execute the project. Verbal communication has to be good. Then strong at building the teams, conflicts management, critical thinking, problem solving, understands and balances the priorities, etc., etc. There are few existing standards and certifications. So as we have said, PMBOK, that is Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is approved as American National Standard by American National Standard Institute. So this is developed by Project Management Institute, that is PMI. There is another standard which is available, and that is also widely used in entire world. So these are two basically most used standards in the project management domain. One is PMBOK and second is PRINCE. The acronym, the full form for this acronym PRINCE is Projects in Controlled Environment. Okay, it is by UK government. There are certain certifications by this PMI. So as a fresher, you can apply for the certified associate in project management, because there is no project experience required for the CAPM exam. And once you gain certain experience in the project domain, then you can go for this PMP examination. And this project management professional, if you get certified as PMP, then there are a variety of opportunities available in the market for people with PMP certification. So if you go to LinkedIn or other profile, you will find that PMP is mentioned in front of the name of many people. So that is only because they have cleared this examination and they are certified project management professionals. There are career opportunities as project engineer. Variety of project opportunities are available. Let's check if this gets open. Yes, I will share this tab. Check whether the Naukri.com page is visible to you. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You can see there are a variety of opportunities available. Senior engineer, project engineer, project manager, project senior project engineer as racking, project engineer in Gurgaon, senior project engineer. So I will just go for a simple any one opportunity so that you can understand what is the expectations from this. This is particularly one opportunity from construction engineering field. Modi Builders and Realtors Private Limited. You can see the job description and jobs plans, assign, trains, instructs, assists, supervise, evaluates the work for technical staff, prepares technical and engineering reports to the progress of work, and so many things they have been mentioned. Provides responsive and timely input so that project timelines or delivery schedules are maintained. Communicate up-to-date information and deal with the colleagues in a courteous and efficient manner. So there are so many things they have been mentioned. Okay. So likewise, you can also refer to some various job sites and check what are the expectations from a project manager, what skills they are expecting from a project manager.